In the last 4 years, M23 activity in the DR Congo has been minimal, with scarce news of their operations. That's following an assault in November of 2013 that crippled M23's operations. But now, 5 years since their formation, the UN is warning of a return by the rebels after what it said was a resurfacing of elements of the group.
We should therefore continue to beef up efforts aimed at neutralizing the illegal armed groups, including the Democratic Forces for the Liberation of Rwanda, FDLR, the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, and others, building on the progress made so far by the DRC armed forces with the support of MONUSCO.
The DR Congo has seen a rise in violence in the country's restive Kasai region, where a worsening insurgency poses the most serious threat to President Joseph Kabila's 16-year rule. Kabila's failure to step down when his 2-term mandate expired in December is threatening to further destabilize the country. The UN remains adamant about neutralizing any violence that may occur.
J'en appelle aux parties prenantes.
I appeal to the parties to diligently implement the 31st December Agreement in order to create the conditions for transparent, inclusive and peaceful elections through dialogue while constantly searching for consensus. I urge them to refrain from any actions likely to lead to violence.
Last Friday, Kabila named Bruno Tshibala, a former member of the UDPS opposition party, as the new prime minister. The UDPS and its allies, however, rejected his nomination, saying Kabila violated a December deal with them. The Congolese ambassador to the United Nations defended the president's pick for prime minister, adding caution that any action by the UN Security Council should be well measured.
Ma délégation estime, pour sa part,
my delegation is of the view that the council should refrain from becoming involved in the conflict within the coalition. This is a conflict that the Council does not fully understand its context. If you speak in favor of one wing of the coalition, as was done by some of you, then you risk reigniting this conflict.
Earlier this week, the Congo opposition called for mass protests against the president's refusal to step down. The turnout was dismal after only a handful of people showed up, eventually pointing to the opposition's waning credibility and the growing difficulty in convincing Congolese people to risk frequently deadly crackdowns by security services.